as excitement and anticipation builds for this weekend's NASCAR Cup Series events at Bristol Dirt, several high-profile drivers, including Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, offer more than their fair share of criticism. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Green. I can't see or hear anything. Oh my goodness, I've got my dirt racing attire on and I look like I'd rob a train in this thing. We're here to talk about all things Bristol Dirt. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, I want to thank Black Rifle Coffee Company for sponsoring this episode. You've seen them on Noah Gregson's Xfinity car. Ty Dillon's had them on his Cup car this year. Black Rifle Coffee is a veteran-owned business serving great coffee and content to everyone with a focus on military veterans and first responders. They've got it all: whole bean and ground coffee, coffee rounds, and ready-to-drink canned espresso beverages. If you click the link below and head to blackriflecoffee.com, you can sign up for everything from single purchases to subscription services that deliver great coffee and great products directly to your door. You can also find their canned espresso drinks at Bass Pro Shops and other retailers around the country. Click the link down below to find a retailer near you and help Black Rifle Coffee Company reach their goal of hiring 10,000 military veterans. Today, we are focused on Bristol Dirt. I know there are some intriguing announcements around the corner. Tomorrow, NASCAR has some sort of Canada-related announcement. SMI, of course, is announcing something. It sounds every day more and more likely that it is North Wilkesboro Speedway related. We discussed some of those rumors in yesterday's episode you can go check out, but today we're talking all about Bristol Dirt. Everyone this week has chimed in at this point. Should NASCAR keep racing on dirt? Is Bristol the right venue for a dirt race? And everything in between. But I want to kick things off by going back to comments Kyle Busch made at Martinsville Speedway almost a week ago. He was asked by Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic that if this weekend's race at Bristol isn't a huge success, isn't great, should NASCAR cut the cord or continue to pursue dirt racing in the Cup Series? And Kyle Busch said,
cut the cord.
How come?
As Richard Petty said, the dirt takes our sport backwards. It's a mess. It's just not, our cars, the tracks, it's not indicative of putting on a good dirt show. I've seen good dirt shows.
I'm not surprised at all to hear those kinds of comments from Kyle Busch, the guy who practically owns Concrete Bristol. Replacing one of those dates with a temporary dirt track, yeah, I understand Kyle Busch's frustration. You have to keep in mind perhaps the inherent bias there. But he cites Richard Petty. Richard Petty last year did say that dirt racing takes the sport backwards. And I know he's the king and everything, but that's a mentality that I just don't really understand. This impression that dirt racing is somehow beneath NASCAR, like that comes across as very elitist, the kind of elitist mentality that I think many hardcore dirt fans already accuse NASCAR of having. I don't agree with that. The dirt racing world is incredible. They have their own vast array of marquee, crown jewel events that attract competitors from all across the world, world-class race car drivers and teams. I mean, just look at the Chili Bowl. They'll have hundreds of cars and teams show up every year. Sprint car racing, dirt late model racing, you name it, they have their prestigious events. It's just like any other racing series, and acting like somehow gritty dirt racing is beneath NASCAR, I don't think that's the right mentality we should have as a sport. So I generally disagree with that kind of philosophy, but where I can agree with Kyle Busch, I agree that maybe Bristol Motor Speedway is not the best dirt racing venue going forward. I love Bristol Motor Speedway, the normal concrete Bristol. I've said for many years, it's my favorite racetrack on the schedule. I understand that fans in the area had stopped showing up to the spring date. The gaps in the bleachers, the full-on closed-off sections we'd see in the spring the last few years, which was just sad. But when it comes to the actual racing on track, man, it's tough to beat Bristol, in my opinion at least. I'd much rather see NASCAR race dirt at a purpose-built dirt track. Eldora, of course, is probably the only one that could really do it. And NASCAR kind of hurt their relationship with that track and its owner, Tony Stewart, when they added Bristol Dirt without telling him, without even consulting him. Remember, that's why he pulled Eldora off the truck schedule. That was a reaction to NASCAR adding Bristol Dirt without consulting him. So that relationship may need to be mended. Maybe it has been. But I'd much rather see NASCAR race on a purpose-built dirt track, or maybe put dirt over a different speedway. Maybe a Richmond, go back to its roots a little bit. I just hate losing a Bristol race. I understand from a business standpoint, if you're SMI, the spring date was suffering, you needed something to revitalize it. The dirt race last year seemed to at least somewhat boost attendance numbers and TV ratings. But in my gut, I don't like losing a concrete Bristol for dirt Bristol. But I can't go as far as Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch in those comments indicates he doesn't want to see any kind of dirt racing, that these cars are not capable of putting on good dirt shows, as he says. That I disagree with. We've seen enough Eldora truck races to know that there can be action-packed, competitive, solid racing. Even last year's Bristol dirt race, despite some shortcomings, weather issues, of course, track preparation issues, running the race during the day, despite some obvious flaws, the racing was still okay. It was not a bad race. I think this year will be better because they've learned a lot more, and I think the next-gen car just naturally will race the dirt surface a little better than last year. So I disagree with Kyle Busch that NASCAR Cup Series cars and drivers are incapable of putting on good dirt shows. I love that the current NASCAR schedule is as diverse as it is. You've got 6 road courses on the schedule, 6 super speedways, pack races, 5 true short tracks, 6 if you include the Clash from earlier this year, a bunch of various intermediate ovals from Michigan Auto Club to Las Vegas, to a bunch of variable short ovals like Phoenix, very different from New Hampshire. And then you've got a dirt race, smack dab in the middle. To win a NASCAR championship, or to win the regular season championship, especially through the first 26 races, you have to demonstrate excellence at a wide variety of tracks. And I think that's great. I think that sets NASCAR apart from other major motorsports. So I am 100% on board with keeping a dirt race on the schedule. I think in general, fans like seeing NASCAR drivers pulled out of their comfort zone. Not every week. I respect that these are highly trained athletes who have trained their whole life at a very specific discipline, and throwing them into the unknown every single week will get old for sure. But I think once in a while, that's what fans want to see, especially when you consider NASCAR has a long and grueling 38 race schedule. Racing on dirt presents its own unique challenges. I think some drivers with a strong dirt background will have an advantage. But as I talked about yesterday, this track combined more importantly with these cars are so different than any other dirt race in the world that even those drivers who I think are very familiar with dirt racing, the Larsons, the Bells, the Briscoes, even they're going to be thrown for a bit of a loop this weekend. So everyone, to some extent, to some degree, will be taken out of their comfort zone. I think once in a while, that's a good thing. I think that's what puts on a great show for the fans, to see who can adapt the quickest, maybe a surprise winner here or there. Like last year, you had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. up in the top 5, Daniel Suarez leading a bunch of laps. Nobody saw that coming, and that was fun. When you have a long, grueling schedule, you need a race or two like this to break things up a little. So going back to Kyle Busch's comments, I disagree with the idea that dirt racing sets the sport backwards. I agree that maybe Bristol is not the right venue for it, but then I disagree that NASCAR is incapable of putting on good dirt shows. We've seen some pretty good dirt shows, and it's unique, if nothing else. Is it World of Outlaws sprint car racing at its best? No, it's not, but it is unique and it's still fun. My final question I want to pose before this weekend really gets rolling. If you're NASCAR or SMI, who are you trying to reach with this race? Because it's clear most of the drivers are lukewarm, if not against it. They'd probably all much rather race on traditional Bristol. Is this race for dirt fans? Like people who don't really watch NASCAR but are aware of NASCAR, who maybe now will give the sport a more of a chance? I don't know. If that's the case, I would have expected a few more fans to show up last year for this event. There are hundreds of millions of dirt fans in the world, in the country, honestly, and you still saw plenty of gaps even last year. I know weather was a factor. We'll see what this year on Easter looks like. Or is this race just for NASCAR fans who, like I said, want to see something different every now and again? What happens if the race this weekend draws in a slightly lower TV rating than last year, which will probably be hard to do because last year's race was rain delayed? What if the attendance isn't as impressive as NASCAR and SMI were hoping for? Do we look at another track? Do we consider Richmond, which isn't SMI owned, so maybe that's off the table? I don't know what they're going to announce with North Wilkesboro this weekend, but what if North Wilkesboro comes back as a dirt track? At least SMI owns that one. Oh gosh, I can already feel you guys cringing in the comments. It's difficult to determine what NASCAR's direction with this race actually is. I think they're just trying to create something different, something spectacular, something that looks unlike any other NASCAR Cup Series race, and they're hoping fans like it. Which fans explicitly? Drivers obviously don't like it that much. I don't know if that many dirt fans are really going to tune in. Hardcore NASCAR fans, is it too different? That's the tough part, and that's the reason I worry that the Bristol dirt race may not have the long-term staying power SMI and NASCAR are hoping for. I hope it's not done completely after this year, or I hope the dirt experiment continues, but maybe Bristol dirt isn't the correct venue to make it happen. That's what I'd like to see. I'd love to see dirt racing continue, but I just don't think Bristol dirt is the right choice. I'm still hoping for a great race this weekend. I think it'll be better than last year's. I think between adding the mud flaps, I know they're still running windshields, and Kyle Larson and others aren't too happy about that, but like Stuart Friesen tested last week, and he had nothing but positive things to say afterwards. He thinks it's going to be a better race race than last year with more grooves. The fact that it's a night race is a good thing. It is on Easter Sunday. That's another interesting wrinkle to this. It's being run on a major holiday, a weekend that NASCAR has usually taken off. How are fans going to respond to that remains to be seen. A lot of things to be optimistic about this weekend, but it's somewhat troubling when so many big name drivers have largely negative things to say about the race days before it happens. Share your thoughts down below. How are you feeling as we approach Bristol Dirt? It is here for the second year now, first year with the next gen car. It's going to be different. What are you guys expecting? Are you excited? Are you dreading it? Do you wish they dropped the dirt experiment entirely, as Kyle Busch suggests? Do you want them to see it maybe at a different venue? Do you think Bristol Dirt is perfect for it? Share your comments down below. I look forward to seeing your responses. That's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR day in, day out. We'll be reacting to the Bristol Dirt race later this weekend. You're not going to want to miss it. And as always, a big thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters as well. I truly appreciate your support. You guys go above and beyond each and every month. I really appreciate it. We'll be back, like I said, later this weekend to talk about Bristol Dirt. Hoping for a good race, hoping for a great show. Hope the weather stays away. We'll be talking about all that Sunday at night. I will see you all then. Have a fantastic weekend, y'all.